Okay, next question. The 40% drop in hash rate due to a blackout in China is worrying for BTC. This is why BTC was designed for decentralization. What are your thoughts on BTC being too centralized at the moment? Great question. Great question. Bill, what do you think about the hash rate blackout in China?
Yes, very interesting. The global governments are always a big fan of warning you that they can step in and stop certain things at any point. I remember, I remember being at a conference in Texas called the Texas Bitcoin Conference, where a company called Decred, DCR, was presenting its work that they figured out how to fork Bitcoin and change it in a way that certain miners could only get a certain percentage of control. Decred went from $12 and hit $240 2 days ago. I think the Chinese can shut off the supply to Bitcoin. I think there's always FUD around crypto. You know, obviously it's a reminder that Bitcoin may not be the ultimate cryptocurrency that the media headlines portray it to be. If anything, when I hear these type of stories, I go back to what I was saying earlier, is I wonder if everyone's going to wake up and go, gee, I bought the wrong form of Bitcoin, or I should have just bought Ethereum. So how much weight do I put in these FUD stories? I don't, right? Because they're just one indication that the real trade is elsewhere, which is something that we've been saying all along. I would prefer to make that point nicely on YouTube wearing my stylish Tokenmetrics baseball cap than I would about worrying about FUD articles. But at the end of the day, it's the same message, folks. There's a better play out there, and you're not too late. If anything, you're early.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Forrest, what do you think about the question in terms of the FUD that's causing Bitcoin to crash?
Yeah, so normally I don't react to FUD too much. I try to push it out of sight, out of mind. But this one I actually think is very serious for Bitcoin. And I know it's an unpopular opinion to take a stance against Bitcoin. But for me, this is why I think that it's possible for Ethereum to flip a Bitcoin sooner rather than later. Not necessarily this market cycle, maybe a year or two, maybe once proof of stake comes out. I don't know. But for me, this is enough for me to not want to own Bitcoin, because what this tells me is that if China wanted to, they can manipulate the price of Bitcoin. Now, I think we probably all agree that there's some level of manipulation that goes on in markets, whether they're legacy markets or crypto markets. To what extent that is, I'm unsure, but this is scary because if Bitcoin, or if China can turn off the power to, I believe it was almost half. So the hash rate went down by 40% within 48 hours. So if they can turn off almost half of the Bitcoin network by turning off the electricity in China, they can manipulate the price of Bitcoin. That doesn't make me feel very comfortable holding Bitcoin. So for me, I will, from this point forward, probably be using Ethereum like Ian as my base pair and my store of value. For reasons I just already discussed, I do think that Ethereum can potentially be a store of value. It can do what Bitcoin does better than Bitcoin eventually when it goes to proof of stake and becomes deflationary. So why hold Bitcoin if you can hold a different store of value that doesn't have this centralization problem?
Tokenmetrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.